Hello, 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 my beautiful friends. So great to see you. My name is Lorelei Fenton, and I am your Ancient Awakenings roving reporter. And in my private life, I'm called the feel-good guru. It's a kind of a catchphrase because as a transformational personal growth and spiritual coach, I help people feel great and to heal their hearts and get rid of whatever's in the way of loving their lives. And I first did this for myself in many ways in my younger days, and now I do it for other people. So we're talking about the channeling on October 28th, 2018, where we were visited by the Ascended Master and keeper of the powerful Transmutational Violet Flame, known as Saint Germaine. Many of you know him, right? And after that, we were visited by one of the individuals that's known collectively as One Who Serves. And One Who Serves answered our questions. It's so great. We get to ask our questions of him, and he answers them. And One Who Serves, by the way, is kind of a collective. We get different ones at different times because it's several individuals who do not use their past earthly names so they can highlight the fact that we are all one. So the theme here today seem to be visualize, imagine, and create. So I have a collage here of the wonderful new world I myself am creating. You have to move it up and down for the picture, for it to take a picture. But check it out. We see happy, smiling people. You see that we travel when we want, where we want. There are people dancing and singing in these peaceful states of existence. And there is a perfectly healed, beautiful earth here. And we have our wonderful animal friends here everywhere, and they're having a great life with us, and that's important. Now, this is my vision of heaven on earth, and maybe you could share this vision with me, bring it to the collective consciousness, and also add your own wonderful visions to it. So, all of these messages, by the way, are channeled through James McConnell, who's a 25-year veteran in the channeling world. And he was trained directly by the Ascended Masters. And we, by the way, also often get poignant messages from the higher self of Joanna McConnell, who's known as Shoshana. So Saint Germaine began by telling us it is wonderful to be with us, he said. And he said there are many things happening behind the scenes and kept from our physical kind of seeing. But with our expanding third eye, or the pineal gland, as we call it, we are seeing beyond the veil. And many of us are wondering if there will be these huge earth changes, and if the timelines have shifted, and if we need to run for our lives, so to speak. And we're told that the more we stay in the 3D illusion, even by trying to avoid catastrophes, the more we bring that illusion to us. So instead, he said, we need to create what we want. See, create it. Create it. Earth changes will happen, but for those who are preparing the way and rising in vibration, as we say, more and more each day, those changes will be gentle. And there are many working behind the scenes to avert these greater catastrophes and loss of life. But collective consciousness rules everything, and it creates the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the volcanic eruptions. So calming the collective consciousness will calm everything. And some changes must occur to purify the vibrations here on earth so Gaia, who has ascended, can safely bring us with her. So she does have a body, and her body is the planet Earth. So imagine if you had all of this pain in your body, like all of this, sickness where the humans had put it in there. So there is some of that needs to happen. But as we rise in vibration, the timelines we're creating will not bring these calamities so much, but rather they will bring peace and calmness. So we are told to create what we want. And we are advised to use visualizations and meditations and imagination to see peace and be at peace. And we're to use the violet flame in and around us to purge out the old and bring in the new golden age of Gaia. Then Saint Germaine left us in peace and love and oneness. And thank you, wonderful Saint Germaine. We love you. We bless you. So next, we were visited by our brother, one who serves, and he answered a particular emailed question right off the bat. And the question was about the so-called bombs, quote unquote, that were being delivered throughout the country by mail. And he said, without delving into politics, he said that these bombs were not real or meant to be real, but they were sent to create a reaction where people would feel bad for the people and have pity or see those people as being persecuted. And it was a ploy from their kind of bag of tricks. And one who serves said they're not speaking of the Democratic Party per se, but rather the cabal and the deep state. And those folks are now doing everything they can to try to stop the probability of all that's coming down on them and the mass arrest and everything like that. So these folks have had many, many opportunities, we're told, to turn to the light, but many have refused. And many did turn to the light. But those who did not are doing all they can to wreak havoc and take attention away from the positive and put attention on the negative and on fear. So these bombs, we're told, are false flags, and everything that cabal and that deep state is doing is actually leading to their own self-destruction. Well, glory be for that. Not that we wish anyone harm, but it really needs to stop, right? So then we had our great audience giving questions. And that's always exciting because it's all the things we're actually wondering. For instance, don't we all want to know what these crazy dreams we've been having actually mean? Well, one caller had a dream where a bunch of circus characters were flying around the house and they were playing, they were cavorting. And then a bit later in the dream, he was looking at some Polaroid photos, you know, the old Polaroids. And when he passed his hand over the photos, the aura of his hand caused the colors in the photos to actually change. So he wanted to know, what was this all about? So first he was asked by one who serves, and this is for all of us, by the way, what did he think it meant? And he said that he felt that the circus folks might be flying around might mean that he's about ready to fly. And he thought that the colors changing might mean that he'll soon be seeing his own and other people's auras. So with the second part of it, he was told by one who serves that yes, he is on track. For him and many of us, we will be able to look at others and determine not just their auras, but actually what they're feeling and what they're experiencing. And for those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear, we will begin to see what's actually behind the scenes. So that's pretty cool, huh? So then, as for the first part of it, the figures in the dreams, we're told that figures in dreams are always aspects of ourselves or parts of our personality. So circus flyers are entertainment and happiness and joy. So these jovial parts of himself are now going to be expressing themselves more and more. And our caller, we're told, can be a bit subdued, this particular caller, and not so likely to open up and kind of let himself go. So he's now being told in the dream and by one who serves to be the circus and experience that freedom and that fun and let go. Pretty cool. So why can some of us not really see with the third eye? Did you ever wonder that? One of our callers said that she has a very high vibration all the time, and she feels and senses things powerfully, but she doesn't actually see the images with her third eye. So she wanted to know, was something broken? Or maybe does she perhaps come from a feeling universe so she can't see so well? Or is there something she's missing that she doesn't know to do to facilitate this? And she was told by one who serves that the third eye is actually not just about seeing, but it's about sensing things, about others and oneself and the surroundings. For instance, knowing if a particular room is a good place to be and is attuned to us in our vibration. And the third eye is also the gateway to our higher parts and bodies and consciousness. And it is coming more and more to opening and being a part of our expression here. And there are those who see well now, and there are those who do not. But for those who don't, this is going to change as the third eye opens, and we go from sensing to more and more and more seeing. And our visualization skills will increase, but we need to work at it and kind of work with it. And this is why, by the way, that they do so many visualizations and meditations with us where we're opening the third eye and imagining and visualizing. However, even if we don't practice, that eye will open for most of us and finally at some point for all of us. So that's a relief, huh? Woo! And then, by the way, the caller was told, and I think this is for everyone, that she has other gifts. And she needs to focus on those other gifts of sensing and feeling and as well. And consider that as a wonderful thing. So are you wondering how is the collective consciousness kind of going as it pertains to Gaia and all of these earth changes? One of our callers wanted to know, how are we doing, so to speak? And we were told we're doing great and not to be concerned with what the fear mongers bring up. Because many of our sources here are operating at kind of different points in their lives. And they may see from a higher dimension at one point and then drop back down to the 3D illusionary standpoint regarding what's going to happen for a while. And it depends on that individual's viewpoint or frame of mind. So if we see as they do from the ship's perspective, all is beautiful and wonderful and going perfectly according to the divine plan. But from our 3D viewpoint, inside of this matrix, there are hurricanes and earthquakes and storms and false flags. Ah! Right? So we need to let that go, move up in vibration, and see ourselves in that higher vibration. And there it is. Woo! So, do you ever have a really weird experience and have it affect you physically? One of our callers saw this kind of tiny bubble hovering around her, and she saw two bright lights next to what looked like a pair of eyes. And then she felt like her whole body was spinning, and she got this huge vertigo experience. And she's told, and she says that the experience she had in that vertigo was as if she was being held so that she would not actually fall down. So one of her servers told her that she had actually encountered something called a floating portal. And they don't speak much about this because it's not really common to encounter these yet. But occasionally we can come upon this, or it comes to us, and we feel dizzy, or we feel faint or lightheaded, or our heartbeat may speed up because of the frequency in the portal and because our physical bodies are not yet ready for that high frequency. And these portals have not been brought to the masses, by the way, because we are not ready yet for them, for the most part. But we can occasionally happen upon them. Okay, so now, don't you always want to know why did this or that happen, right? Well, on this kind of an issue, our caller wanted to know what was the purpose of her encountering that portal. And she was known that there really was no purpose. So that's interesting. Everything doesn't have to have a meaning and a purpose. And some things just happen because they happen to happen. And this happened, we're told, because the vibrations are rising. And so those things may be around a little bit. And this is going to happen more and more to many more of us. And at some point, we're told that we're not going to feel dizzy because we're going to feel elated and blissful because our bodies will be ready for that. So that's pretty cool, huh? So do you ever travel kind of here and there and everywhere during meditations and you want to know why you're traveling all over? One of our callers went to the New Jerusalem ship during our group meditation, and she wanted to know why that happened. And one who serves told her that there were many people who went to ships during that meditation and to other places. And Saint Germaine had mentioned this in the actual meditation. So she wanted to know again, what was the message here? Because we always want a message, don't we? And she was told that they cannot actually tell her what the message was. If she got a message, that's up to her to remember or know, because that's the process we're in now, is to remember and know these things. So now, have you ever found yourself writing in symbols and kind of wondered what that weird thing was? One of our callers did, and she felt that it might be what is known as light language. So she wanted to know, is she supposed to interpret this, or what should she know about this? And she was told there is no supposed to. There really is no supposed to in the higher frequencies. And that's a big one in here in 3D, isn't it? We often feel this kind of supposed to hovering all around us, and we should, but there is no supposed to, and there is never a should. That's pretty cool, right? Oh, hallelujah for that. So she was told that she's writing these, and at some point she's going to understand these, because it's all about remembering. And for those of us working with the light language, it is coming from a kind of a deep memory pattern from many planets and systems long, long ago. And this was used in telepathic communication, where we spoke in a kind of symbolic language, and often in pictures. Because with pictures, rather than words, there's much more information that can be sent in a shorter time. So that's interesting, isn't it? So those of us like me that are English teachers, really? So have you heard of the Sintamani stone, which came from a meteorite that hit the earth millions of years ago? Our next caller wanted to know about the particular one that she had ordered. And she had read that it was given to certain people thousands of years ago for a special use, and then it would now be given to the 144,000. So she wondered what to do with this Sintamani stone. And one who serves said that these stones are not indigenous to the earth, and they come from other planets. So it's important to utilize them specifically as we are guided. And we'll usually be guided to place them in certain areas to raise the vibration in and around that area. And when we place them in that certain sacred places, it awakens and enlivens the etheric energy grid in that place. So she's told to go with her guidance as to where exactly to put it, and definitely not to wear it or do anything else with it. Okay, just to put it where she's guided to put it. That's for all of us. So, do any of you have the moonlight kind of shining onto your beds? Our last caller does have that, and she wanted to know, is the moon a hologram, and does it put off a good or a harmful energy? And the moon, we're told by one who serves, is not what we've been told it is. It's not a ship, as some say, but it's more like a satellite. And it's not exactly man-made, but rather consciousness-made. So the moon was placed here many, many millions of years ago in order to work with the vibrations of the earth. And that's what it's actually done all those many years. However, nowadays, the moon is more and more not being used for this original purpose. There is life on the moon, and there are bases on the moon that are still mostly cloaked, except at certain times. But the times these bases can be seen are increasing. And when the secret space program comes to light, it will bring an understanding of the moon and planets and the sun, and that all are embodied with some type of consciousness. There is a movie about this, by the way, that just came out. I'm going to put it in the notes for you, because it's pretty amazing movie, kind of a documentary about that secret space program, and very eye-opening. So now the original purpose of the moon was benevolent, we're told, but it has been co-opted. So to have, and we're also told to have the moon on you doesn't really matter, because the light of the moon is neither beneficial nor harmful. But the sunlight, on the other hand, is very beneficial, and that's where we definitely want to be. And we were then told, by the way, to continue with our endeavors to awaken ourselves and to help others, because increasing the awakening of the collective consciousness will make all that we're creating happen much more quickly. And then one who serves gave us his Shanti and his peace, and be the one. Wow, that was really a great channeling, wasn't it? Oh my goodness, I am so very blessed, because I get to really soak these channelings in by making this summary and by reading them and making the video. And you know what? Something new hits me every time. So thank you, one who serves. And thank you, Saint Germaine. So this time, by the way, I got how important it is to create this new earth and how it's going to be, and imagine it and see it. And this is going to also bring all of that to the collective consciousness, which will finally make it happen. So God bless you, my friends. I send you my love, joy, peace, fun, play, ease, and delicious delight in being alive. Namaste.